One ordinary day, I was enjoying family dinner, and my brother caught my attention while recollecting childhood memories. Well, I was 25 years ago. My siblings are 20 years older than me, which is a quite significant difference. I was amazed that I had many questions, especially when trying to imagine myself living in that era when there was no social media, tablets, and smartphones. Or maybe there was, but with minimal possibilities. Can you imagine living like that? It seems people use computers and cell phones in entirely different ways. Cell phones just to make calls, and computers as an alternative to typewriters. The most important question was how people managed to communicate with each other and exchange information. Most probably the speed and methods we enjoy today were unbelievable for most people, just as like it is hard for me to imagine myself living in that era. In our time, and especially in the last years, digital technologies are developing quickly. Before, any event happening in another country was only spread locally. However, today, any news can be spread anywhere in the world just in a few seconds, and we can quickly find it through social media and networks if needed. Digital technologies and modern world has given us great opportunities to be faster, to spend less time, and to be more productive. Well, I can imagine what life would have been like several decades ago when social networks didn't exist. Probably more boring and even unbearable conditions, since its technologies were not as developed as today. Today we live in extraordinary times, an era in which it is possible to know and follow the stories of and lives of people living around the world while just sitting in front of a computer or just hanging on the phone. Simply saying that we have more opportunities in all directions nowadays. Can't stress enough how much influence, both positive and negative, social networks have on people's consciousness on people's daily lives, and how it can bring both use as well as harm to our humanity. We can discuss endlessly how valuable and efficient social networks are, but here, as well as in life in general, there is a battle between good and evil. Unfortunately, social networks are not only used for positive purposes, but also as a tool of evil to influence people's consciousness. Needless to say, today we are in the middle of the information wars. We hear different information about same facts, about the same events with different facts. This creates the greatest danger in our daily lives. It scares us and makes us uncertain about tomorrow. The more digital world develops, the more opportunities there are for evil forces to exploit evil forces and to make a better influence on our minds. At the same time, good forces also try to resist evil and maintain balance. Although for us it is becoming more and more complicated to tell which information is accurate and which one is fake. It is so hard to make a decision with so many different opinions around it. Therefore, it is our generation that has the biggest responsibility to be on the right side. We should be strong and not let ourselves be overcome by the temptations of the social media. Of course, there is no ready and definite solution to this complex problem, and there is no specific way to be safe. But if we're going to integrate with modern life, and we must, then education can be the most important tools of defense. Every single day, we should be focused on self-development and self-improvement. We must learn how to think critically, and how we must know much more than what is officially required. As per famous saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We must live with strength and caution, but caution must not be fixed with fear, for the fear is friend of evil and caution is a sign of kindness. We must live with strength and caution, but caution must not be fixed with fear, for the fear is friend of evil and caution is a sign of kindness. We must remember that the truth is not readily available. It is always required some effort and analysis to recognize the truth. We should also remember that the more we try to look at things more deeply and apply critical thinking, we will encounter more resistance, because it is not easy to analyze so much information. Fake news is specifically disguised as truth and quickly grabs our attention. But it is our responsibility to investigate the topic further, find as much as reliable information as possible, and to make our personal decisions accordingly. While traveling, I have seen many young people who saw events only in black and white because they were victims of political ambitions. These young people had limited access to reliable information. Of course, the world will not be the perfect place for us, and we probably won't live in John Lennon's ideal world called Imagine. But for us, who have freedom and unlimited access to reliable information, we must strive for a perfect world so that our future generations have even more opportunities for modern technologies to only serve peace and universal welfare of mankind. I can also provide real-life examples. You may all have seen probably some poster videos on the exactly same topic, but having many different authors. One author tries to describe the case as negative and that it contains the signs of crime, while the other author, at the same time, claims that this is positive and this is beneficial even for the society. So which person should we believe? How can we discover the truth? Especially if the posts like this contain political or religious propaganda, the easiest answer to this would be to ignore all information. But there are times when there is necessary to investigate and discover the truth and make a decision. Now, many people will argue that it is tough to cope with so many difficulties of the modern world, but I believe that young people can learn, adapt, and develop critical thinking. For example, when we are in the first grade, learning foreign language seems difficult. Any written phrase is a considerable work for us at that particular time, but when we grow up, and when we are, for example, in the 10th grade, and we accidentally encounter our old textbooks, that homework makes us smile. They seem so much easier now. This is called the process of learning. We learned a foreign language, and now fluent reading seems easy. But life itself did not become an easier place for us, since we study not because we have some specific novel to read, but to be educated, smart and analytical thinkers, so in the future we can deal with this kind of difficulties. Life will not get easy. On the contrary, it will get hard. And modern technologies and digital world might be the best inventions of our old civilization, but we must remember how to use these technologies wisely. We must not become the real victims of our own inventions. It is impossible to stop scientific and technological development, but we must remember that with great power also comes great responsibility. We must remember how to use these technologies only for good purposes, to promote personal development as well, so that one day we can reach distant planets and galaxies. Thank you.